right, hi, I'm Walt Barisanac and welcome to Old Tavern Farm. Okay, come on in, we'll give you a little tour. With us today, that'll be accompanying me, is going to be Greg Daly. Greg, come on over here. He's our director of the farm. Okay, you guys probably recognize him from Foal Patrol, and Trinity Pascal, you also probably recognize her from Foal Patrol as well. She's our blueberry manager. So we got a beautiful day to tour you. All right, this is a little different than what we've done in the past, where people used to drive here. We have a beautiful drive to come out, okay? But I think today with this weather, I think you'll get a sense for what we're about, okay? Just to give you a little background here, okay? We are located in Saratoga Springs, for people who've never been here before. We are approximately 4 miles from the front gate of the Saratoga racetrack. Farm here, I think we are a breeding farm. We're a New York registered breeding farm. Okay. We try to bring to sale each year between 8 and 10 years old. Right? The background of the farm itself, okay, these lands were once Palmer's Maple Shade Farm, which was actually a pretty large farm that went all the way down to Saratoga Lake. And in the background, you can see Saratoga Lake down there. It went all the way down to Saratoga Lake, and we're located on what they call Brown Road, and all the way up Brown Road. Okay, so basically, over the years, Palmer's Maple Shade Farm got kind of broken up, and then about, I think it started really like 6 years ago. We started buying some properties and putting it back together again as a farm, and then we turned it into a thoroughbred farm. So that's a little bit of a background. As you can see, one of the buildings over here, how we got our name Old Tavern Farms was there was an old tavern back in this spot that dated back to the late 1800s, and it was on the property. And unfortunately, we couldn't really save any of it. It was pretty dilapidated, but people used to ask us all the time, where's this new farm being built? And I said, geez, you remember where the old tavern is on Brown Road? They go, oh yeah, I know where it is. Well, one thing led to another, and that's how we got our name, Old Tavern Farm. Okay. Follow me into the barn here. This is the barn here. Again, like, you know, the way that we kind of set up is that here is kind of like a building that we use for various maintenance, but it also is a part of the winery that we have here. So my daughter, she runs a winery, Old Tavern Farm Winery. Actually, we have 1,300 vines planted down at the end of Brown Road here, as well as we own our own plot of grapes out in the state of Washington. So we do have a small winery here, and Trina, she lives upstairs. Right? You never see a Plenty wine or anything like that. Come on, go in and we'll kind of talk a little bit more about the background, and then we'll kind of get into some horses. We'll get some yearlings. We'll show you some bears, foals. We'll talk a little bit about the upcoming sales that we have in this kind of different world that we're about to launch into on the sales.
It's Walter, the black cat.
So this is the acreage score barn here, as you can see. We have a table here. This is kind of our cafeteria, I guess you'd call it, that comes into the barn. Just a little bit more about the history here, and again, which kind of shows about this was a farming piece of property for well over 120, 130 years. As you can see, as we started digging up the foundation, like, you know, old remnants of farming relics came up, and obviously there was horses on this property back then, many horseshoes, some like this certainly be more of a plow horse than a racehorse. Okay, and 1913 New York State license plates to various other type of artifacts. You know, something that's kind of interesting. There was a railroad line called the Saratoga Skyler. It was a short line railroad that ran through this property. It would start in Saratoga and then branch. One would go to Schuylerville, New York, which is about 10 miles from here, and the other would go to Canton, which is about another 15 miles from here. So there was a short line railroad that was back in the 1800s, and we still find some railroads there. All right, so that's enough about the history of the property itself. Let's talk a little bit about the facilities and a little bit about the horse operation. Now I'll turn it over to Greg and Trina. All right. So basically, for this barn, this barn is really set up for breeding. Okay, we have 16 stalls. Each one of these stalls can be the middle wall can be taken out and turned into a double stall. These stalls are 12 by 12, if I remember right, Greg. Whatever Greg is, 12 by 12, and then we can break them out to be 24 feet in basically length. Okay, what you see here right now, and okay, we'll get into this in a minute in more detail, but basically these are all horses that are getting prepped for sale. I'm going to let Greg and Trina here in a minute kind of get into some of the sales prep, okay? But I'll just briefly say the reason why they're in the barn right now is because when it's sunny out, their coats gets bleached out, okay, by the sun. So we don't want that to happen. So during the day, they come in about the sales prep. Okay. Well, anyway, this is our barn, 16 stalls. It's a pretty modern type design. It's pretty efficient. Rubber tiles in the middle, floor drains and rubber tiles all in the stall itself, so we can sanitize these things very easily with not much effort per se. We have a wash area here. It's really turned into a wash area weigh station. So we do keep track, especially of our foals. We kind of weigh them and we measure them on a regular basis to kind of keep that data to track against, I guess, what they would call more of a national average or pretty much a global average at this point, right, Greg? Okay, so yeah, so there's a database that basically you can put this data into, and then you can kind of see where your foals are tracking against the rest of the foals in North America. Pork chop, we have a potbelly pig here, okay, which again, a lot of people might have saw on Foal Patrol. That's where he lives, right there. Okay, so he's not in there right now. He wanders around the fields during the day, and about 4 o'clock, he wanders back up to eat. So, what probably our number one non-horse question we get, people ask, pork chop the pig, do you keep him in a pen or what does he do? No, he just wanders throughout the farm, and he just comes back at night and goes to bed. So, it's pretty maintenance free. Any event, just to kind of give you an idea on the rest of the pastures on this side of the property. Okay, this is the other end of the barn, and okay, you can see we're on Saratoga Lake. That's Saratoga Lake down at the bottom of the hill down there. You got the various pastures that are down through there. So we're fortunate enough not only to have property that works very nicely for our paddocks, but just kind of a side benefit is that you have a pretty good scenic view as well. All right, so I'm going to get into this. I'm going to turn this over to Greg, but I'll just give the intro of it. Okay, so basically, we had a foal a couple of years ago on Foal Patrol. Okay, it's by Bodemeister. Okay, and basically she went to a yearling sale last year, and we felt there wasn't acceptable offers that we had on her. So we actually went to the 2-year-old sale in Ocala. Was it Ocala, Greg, or Kimoni? Ocala, sorry. Because we went to 2, we switched, okay? So she went down there. She actually ran a really good 1/8 of a mile. She ran a 10-2. She had a nice gallop out and stuff, but I'll be honest with you, the 2-year-old sales were a little tough this year, and we decided basically before she went through the ring that we took her out, and we decided that we're going to keep her and we're going to race her under the Old Farm racing banner. So any event, we started a naming contest, which, believe it or not, we got over 600 names. And Greg, I'm going to take it from, give us a little bit about the naming contest and give us a little bit about, the horse.
So as you can see, this is Memento. Dioro 18. We appreciate everyone. We got tons of interest in the names. Some real creative ones, some really great names actually. Some were taken already by other horses, and as you know, the jockey club dictates the names of thoroughbreds. So after all the debate internally we had with everybody coming back and forth and everyone having their opinion on what she should be named, we felt that we couldn't do her justice without using Seahorse in the name. So without further ado, her name is Seahorse Dioro. Thank you all for your participation. The people that won, we actually had 3 people with the same name, and I don't want to ruin anybody's names, but Joan Kirkstand, Kathy Nelson, and Jarrett Bonick are all winners, and we'll be sending them some nice OTF gear as a prize. So thank you all for participating. Now I'm going to let Trina kind of explain what our plan is for her here at the farm and then moving forward as a racehorse.
So as Walt just told y'all, we got her back from the sale because we didn't feel that we got what we would want to get for her. And since we own the mare, it's to our benefit to have control over her destiny. And so right now she's on a bit of a break. She'll stay here probably till the end of the month, and then she'll go into training. We're not sure who she's going to go into training with yet. So hopefully she'll have a successful career.
But we'll continue to keep everyone updated on what her plan is and what the progress is of her as she gets further along in her career. But again, thank you all for participating in that. We'll give a little update now. We'll go through the yearlings a little bit and kind of give everybody a quick intro to what we do here at the sales strip, and then what prospects we have to offer. So,
All right.
One moment, I'll turn it to Walt.
So basically this year, we have 9 yearlings, excuse me, that we're going to be bringing to sale this year. This year, all the sales due to the COVID virus have been kind of shifted. Normally, we would start possibly selling in a July Fast and Tipton sale down in Kentucky, then here in Saratoga, the Select or the New York sale, and then we move on to Keeneland, and then possibly Fast and Tipton in October. And, we had a question on, how do we pick the sale, okay? And I'll tell you, that's a difficult spot, because what you want to do is you're trying to find the best fit for your horses. And each one of these sales have a little bit of dynamics. And the real key is that you want your horse to stand out in the sale, all right? So let me just say this, the Select sale in Saratoga, which is a very high-end sale, meaning that some of the best yearlings in the country are in that sale. If your horse is not one of the best yearlings in the country, okay, first of all, you have to be selected to get in there. Even if you get in there and you feel that you're not in that category, you're probably not going to be satisfied with the outcome of the sale. So this is what you have to do. You have to kind of know your horse, work with the consignor, and kind of find the place where you think that you're going to stand out the best. Now this year, all those sales, the July sale, the 2 Saratoga sales were all canceled, and now they've been lumped into a 2-day sale that's going to be after the Derby here on that first week in September. The Fasten sale sort of kick off the yearling market with a 2-day sale. That's going to start off with 164 New York breds, and then from there they'll go into the Select and horses that would be in the July sale. So for us on that first sale, we have a Go Sapper that's going into the Select portion of that sale, and we have a hard spun that we're going to put in there. And then we're going to move on to Keeneland. So in Keeneland, we got a Malibu Moon filly. We have a Munnings filly. We have another hard spun, which is a filly. We have a Mine Shaft. We have a to Mischief, and then we have a Violence. So, I mean, our sire power, we're real happy this year. Matter of fact, the sire power, we got all these sires are doing really, really great. And we felt really, really good about our confirmation and about the horses that we have here. But I'll be perfectly honest with you, we are a little concerned about sales this year. Okay, about what's going to happen. Travel ban. 2-year-old sales were not as robust as you'd like to see them. Europeans can't necessarily get here. Asians can't get here. So, you know, if you have a reduced bidding pool and the underbidders are your best thing that you got going to kind of drive the prices up, they're not around. We're not quite sure what to expect here. But all we can do is control the stuff that we can control. And the bottom line is Greg and Trino, and we'll get these horses in the best possible sales shape they can, and we'll keep our fingers crossed from there. All right, Greg, go ahead.
All right, so continuing the trend with Foal Patrol horses, as some of you that watched last year, this past year, the year previously, this is the Comanche Swa Malibu Moon filly. So as you can see, she's grown substantially since you probably all seen her. She's one of the taller yearlings that we have. Right now for sales prepping, people ask us all the time what we do for sales prepping. And honestly, for us, we're small. We're always sales prepping the foals from the very beginning, teaching them different things, halters, how to lead, how to walk out, conditions and stuff. Sorry, the flies are bothering here. So those are things that we're continually always doing anyway. So when we start sales prepping about 60 to 90 days out, it's pretty much we're hitting the ground running. We're already got a pretty good head start. For her, she didn't require a ton of sales prepping. She is naturally very elegant with each filly. She's pretty fit. Trina, you can jump in here and kind of talk. Trina's got a huge training background, so she can kind of give you a lot of what trainers look at when they're looking at racehorses at the sale. What you think about her, kind of talk about her shoulder, her neck, and all that observational stuff.
Yeah, so well, at first glance, you know, she's really well balanced. That's what you would look at first when you walk up to the horse. The balance. She can be evenly divided into three even sections: the neck and shoulder, the section, and then her hip. She's got a really great shoulder towards her neck, a nice long neck into her shoulder well. A lot of people, the neck is directly correlated to length of stride, so you want like a nice long neck. She's long-legged. She's feminine yet athletic looking. She also looks like she's going to grow even more because her groin is a little taller than her shoulder right now. She's got a nice long hind leg. So overall, she's one of our top picks for our group.
So she's going to Cleveland. She is hip. She knows this already, but I don't off the top of my head. She's got both 3 though, so you can watch her go through the ring with about a month from now, give or take. So, but we're pretty excited about her. She kind of had, as you guys probably know, you didn't get to see her birth. She had a rough birth. So we're pretty excited that she's developed into such a nice horse at this point in her career. Continuing with the sales prepping, we're going to go grab another horse for you guys and show you around. To kind of give you a different perspective. We can grab Alpine Sky.
Is that the mare or
The mare, and we're going to bring out here because the mare's right there.
all right, so Alpine Sky basically, this is a mare that we bought at the Keeneland Bloodstock sale. I think it was 3 years ago, I want to say now. Kind of a funny story is that we were just flying in and just getting off the plane, and our Bloodstock agent that works with us and our signer, which is Francis, gives me that phone and he's like, hey, listen, he says, I want you to take a look at this mare. She's in book 1. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. Okay, book 1 of the Bloodstock sale is usually a pretty pricey part of the sale. It's normally not exactly what we shop at. You know, we do have some very nice mares that we pay some prices for, but she was book 1, I think, hip number 1, believe it or not. You know, so we looked at her quick, and the auction started, and we sat there. And we were lucky enough to basically get her. I think we paid like $175,000 for her, which might seem like a lot of money, but in book 1, that was a bargain. So she's an Indian Charlie mare, which Indian Charlie is is a kind of be a sire of brood mares, like, you know. So she's a good-looking girl. This is her first foal, right?
It is.
Okay, so basically we bought her. We actually sent her back to the track for a few months with Mark Cassie, and then took her back off. I think it was in February. And basically, this is the ghost sapper colt that she got pregnant with the ghost sapper, and this is the colt that she produced. So this guy's going to go to the. This is the ghost sapper that I mentioned that will be going to the Fast and Tipton sale here. That first sale. To the select portion. So even though he's New York bred, we decided to put him in the select. He was accepted into the select part. So he's a nice looking horse, nice looking yearling, nice colt.
So as Walt had just said, first foal, you're pretty happy with this because this is a really nice colt. He's as you can see, the build is different than the one we just showed you. He is a little bit broader shouldered, just more muscular than this colt in him. He's a little more compact than her, but still has a little bit of scope. His neck is still he got some good length in neck and really balanced. So just as you can see, a different build physically, but then again, he is a colt. But for a ghost sapper, he's got a little bit more neck on him and a little more scope to him than they most normally do. We're pretty excited about him too, as we are about most of them this year. So we're kind of looking forward to this sale. He'll be at, like Walt said, he'll be at Fast and Tipton. I don't know, Trin, do you have anything else to add as far as what they like about him at the track for colts versus Phil?
Yeah, I mean, I think he pretty much covered it. That's you know, you can see where he's an April foal, so he's still pretty young. You can see where he's going to grow some more too, where his hip is higher than his shoulder, which is always a good thing at this age. But very, very nice first foal. I think anyone would be happy with that.
He's pretty chill, as you can see. He likes just to hang out.
Yeah, you see, a lot of people ask about Floripa, and we actually have her first foal we bought. I don't know, maybe Walt wants to explain that. He really liked that foal, and we ended up buying him.
Yeah. So basically, like I mentioned, you know, we try to bring around 8 to 10 yearlings to sale here a year, and basically what we'll do is we'll breed like 6, and then we'll go at the bloodstock sales and we'll buy weanlings. So we'll pinhook, okay, maybe 4 or 5 as well. So we have a combination of our own bred, and then we got a combination of ones that we quote unquote pinhook. So people ask, well, why do you do that? Okay, so the business model that we run, all right, obviously when you breed your horse to a sire, like, you know, you go through and try to come up with the best match that you possibly can, okay? And then you hope that comes out a foal that's a great looking foal. The issue is that doesn't always happen. Sometimes they're great looking, and sometimes, you know, they might have some issues. So what we do to offset that is that we actually buy some weanlings that we can pick out, okay? So basically we get to pick what they look like, and hopefully we can kind of get a sense of what their conformation is. And what that does, it kind of balances out the breeding. So some years you have great foals that you bred, and then, you know, you might have some pinhooker ones that don't look as good. Okay, some years you might have the pinhooker ones carry the day, and some of your homebreds didn't look as good as you thought it was going to be. And then there's the times where, and to be honest with you, this is one of the times, like, you know, and of course, like, you know, we're hit with this crazy sales world, but this is one of the times where all the ones that we bred look great. And all the ones that we bought as weanlings and now raised them to yearlings, they look great. So we're real happy about the crew yearlings we have and the sire power we have. Unfortunately, we're going to see what, fortunately or unfortunately, see about the sales. How does that bring us up to this story right here? This is a hard spun colt that we basically bought, okay, down in Keeneland last year as a weanling, okay. Hard spun's having a great year again, okay. He's really becoming a top sire. This guy is a great great looking foal. We were really, really happy and fortunate that excited when we saw him walk out and came in the barns out there, and thoughts of basically buying the mare, buying his okay. Basically, he was getting ready to go in his other captive mare, that big long legs and stuff like that, and the mother was up for sale. Now she was coming up 3-4 times before he went. The mother, he's out the back, I'm in the sales mare for a deal. He goes, maybe you want a bit of talk. I'm signing the paperwork for him. You were able to get the mare. The mare was, she was pregnant to Bernardini. Okay, so we got basically a captive mare that was pregnant to Bernardini, and certainly this year so far, Bernardini's got one horse that's doing really well, which is Art Collector. So, you know, maybe we got a little bit of luck there, but we'll show you. We'll show you them later. We talk about mares and foals. But anyway, this is the hard spun foal that we got. He's going to be going with the facet sale. Along.
The buffering people are, yeah, for here, yeah. So we're just gonna take them over there. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Buffers.
Yeah, there's not great service right there, but we were doing well out here, so.
So just once again, you keep the fast and shifted. We're going to use another horse that hasn't required a lot of prepping. We bought him from Taylor Made. They did a great job getting ready. They're selling him. He came here and he's pretty forward already. So he's the boss out in the field. He's in line of bad here today. But he has been pretty easy to prep and pretty straightforward. So pretty happy with him. He's pretty athletic looking and has a lot of growing to do because he's another April fool. So we're kind of happy with how he's developing.
One thing they did get lucky is he is narrow, you know, he's great looking, like from the side, and he's actually left filled out. So very
I think next up we're going to talk about the mares and foals. So.
We're going to take a walk down the hill, Aaron?
Walk outside. Everyone right there.
Okay, we're getting, you know, just so you know, okay, we have others that are watching this too as well, and I know there's some comments about some of the wind is blowing through the microphone, so it is a little bit of a breezy day here today. We apologize. We'll yell a little louder if you can't hear us, but there's not much we can do about the wind at this point. But why don't you follow us down here now, and we're going to go to just this first pad right here. We got a couple of mares, couple of foals to show you a little bit about some big.
Okay, so basically, if you that hard spun that Greg and Trina just had out, and I talked about the mare that we bought, the tappet mare that was the mother. Well, that's her right there. That's that gray mare. Okay. So if you take a look, this was the this is the Bernardini that she was pregnant with when we bought her. Greg can turn him around. We'll see. I don't know. Now he's getting a little older, so we call him Bernie. No political connotations here, okay? But you know, but the sire was a Bernardini. He was one of. I'll tell you. Let me say something about this foal. Greg and Trina can talk about him even more. I mean, he's the friendliest guy you ever want to meet. I mean, he's probably about the friendliest foal we ever had on this farm. Okay, you can basically pet him. The people in the neighborhood, since we got, you know, pastures up and down Brown Road and people are always walking up and down, people love them. You know, the kids come, they pet them out on the road out there and stuff. So, yeah, you know, but anyway, but that's Mom over there, and he's a pretty independent guy since he was born. Like, you know, that, you know, most of the time you know, the foals would follow their mother around. Oh, this guy would be over on the other side of the field, and, you know, Mom would be up the other side. So anyway, that's the Bernardini. Who else we got here?
Okay,
Just good magic.
this is the Ghost Zapper foal.
Ghost Zapper foal.
Added to the Moon Alice. He is probably our best, one of our best, soon to be weanlings. We have this year. Nice big colt, strong boned colt. Probably a very popular sire, Ghost Zapper. Well, a few questions that we keep getting asked a lot about is the weaning process and how we pair foals up with certain mares and foals and things like that. For us, we're small. We have about, like Walt said, between 5 and 6 foals. So we try to wean them all at the same time. Just so it's just easier on us from a management perspective. This year, with how the sales have shaken out and just spacing and paddock space, we're a little later than we normally like to do it. And these guys are also born a little bit later in the year than we normally have foals. So he's an April foal, he's an April foal. A couple of the other foals are April foals. So when we wean them, the mares, they get separated from the babies. The babies will stay here at the barn, and then the mares will go up the road. If we find it's best if they don't hear each other, it goes a lot faster. Generally, we do it in one afternoon, and by a day or two later, it's over, and that's the end of the weaning process for us. It's usually pretty straightforward. The yelling is a little intense in the beginning, but they get over it quick, and they're out with their buddies the next day, and it's like a new day. So generally, that will happen in about another 3 weeks or so from now. We'll start that process. As far as pairing up mares and foals with Moon, honestly, a lot of it has to do with the development of the foals during this time of year. It's just challenging because some foals are a little bit more forward than others, and they need different feeding requirements. So we can't always have them all in a big group and try and feed certain things. It makes it a little more challenging. So we will pair up ones that are on the same feeding program, also that they make be better off with personality-wise. These guys get along great, and it's pretty easy to manage them. Some of the other mares and foals don't get along as well, so we kind of have to separate them out. It's really just a constant shifting. We also don't have a ton of paddock space like in Kentucky, where you can probably put a horse in a field that's as big as the slower part. We only have about 40 acres of paddock space, so that also dictates it, how we rest fields and when we're treating fields for certain things and fertilizing and things like that to make sure there's grass in the field. We do a lot of rotation. So, there's some other questions I do about, about weaning and things like that. I don't know if we answered everything that everybody had.
Yeah, so we received questions from some of the attendees ahead of time, and I think you answered a lot of them. But I think one that someone brought up was if you ever have used or use the nanny pair, or you do any weeding.
I have not here. We have in the past at other farms. Generally, that's used kind of, I think, when there's orphan. And another question I know we had asked, someone asked about the foal, the move, and things like that. To the Moon Alice here, this bay mare, she's in foal to Uncle Mo. As everybody knows, it's a pretty hot sire right now. Floripa is not in foal to anyone. She's barren. We had to breed her back in New York as part of the rules and regulations for New York breeding. And she didn't take when we bred her to Freud. And because of the timing, we are not going to breed her. She's getting this for I turn that part of my brain off and don't think about doing it after season. So I don't have the date off the top of my head, but it is in the later part of the spring. So Memento Dioro, she is down in Kentucky still, and she is in full to Spitestown. And then we have Omaha Swa here, and she's in full to Omaha Beach. I think Walt can touch on this a little bit about how we pick sires. You know, that's a comment that comes up a lot.
The Taste Classy Lady is with Malibu.
Is in Melbourne, yes.
And then Roman Saris is the Factor. So again, like, you know, what we try to do, because as Greg said, like, you know, I'll tell you what, we're a boutique type breeder, okay? But what we try to do is try to focus on the upper end of that sire market, like, you know, so if you go down that top 20 list of sires, you know, that's where we try to hit. And, you know, we try to have a mare that's able to produce a nice fold out of that upper end of the type sires. And, you know, we'll try to mix it up a little bit, like, you know, like Omaha Beach. I mean, obviously Omaha Beach was a big horse that was on the Derby Trail. Unfortunately, he got hurt, but very, very highly regarded. And we were very happy that we were able to get our mare, Omaha Swa, who's an Empire Maker mare, into Omaha Beach. So, but the selection is, you know, tied to, obviously, like, you're working the pedigree, you're working market dynamics. And to be honest with you, market dynamics can be as important as other things. And but at the end of the day, like, you know, you have to try to get runners, and to really increase the value of your mare and the foals that she produces, is you got to have horses get to the track. You got to have runners. Okay, so that's probably one of the most important things you can do. Okay, is to get runners. So again, the top sires are those top sires because they rank them on, you know, dollars that, you know, horses have won. You know, horse they have sired. So basically, they have runners. So that's what we try to target around. We try to get runners. You know, these are a couple of folds here. Like, you know, okay, right now on the ground, as we have a Good Magic. So this year we actually went with 2 new sires, which is a little unusual for us. Okay, but so we have Como Se Suave, we have a Good Magic, Taste Classy Lady, we have a West Coast, as Greg mentioned, Momento d'Oro, Empire Maker, and then we have Go Sapper and Bernardini, and then Roman Saris, the mare that we own here, Old Tavern Farms and Twin Farms, which is Tom Mina, who owns 5 Oak Farms. That's the mare we split. We got a McLean's Music, and unfortunately, the More Than Ready Alpine Sky passed away. So, but, you know, I think you can tell by that list, it gives you a sense for where we're trying to shoot for at the end of the day regarding sires, and then how we kind of match them up. Now, there was a question here: do we own all these horses, or all these horses ours? And the answer to that is yes. So basically, everything on this farm, except for the ones we split, which means there's one, which is Roman Saris. Okay, we split her, but Old Tavern Farms, we own her, and then our partner owns the other half. So no, we don't take any boarders, or we don't have any other horses on the farm that are not ours. So for the good and for the bad, okay, because there's a lot of horses here. Okay, they're all ours. All right. So, is there any other type of questions or anything we can answer, or?
We did get a couple about where you would send some of the horses for training.
Oh.
If you've decided that yet.
Okay, so, well, I'll tell you. Okay, so for training, again, you know, I'll tell you right now, we have 3 2-year-olds that are either at the track or going to be at the track. So we have a McLean's Music with Jorge Abreu, right, Trina? Is that correct? Okay, and, you know, just a side note, you know, Trina she's the one that kind of monitors our racing here. Okay, like, you know, she spent 20 years on the track. You know, she's worked for the likes of Wayne Lucas, and she was last with Al Stahl, okay, as an assistant trainer there. So she has a lot of racetrack experience. So which, you know, I certainly don't have a lot of racetrack experience. So basically, you know, Trina kind of handles that end. But so we have a McLean's Music, which is over here in Saratoga with Jorge Abreu. The Upstart, which was a 2-year-old. He was with Ray Hanlon. He just had to get a little bit of a chip out of his ankle, no big deal. He'll be back there in a few weeks. So Ray Hanlon's got that. And then the Seahorse Adoro, we're not quite sure where she's going to go. Like, you know, she came here, you know, she took a little break. She'll be going here within the next couple of weeks, but we're going to make a decision. She's a New York bred, okay? So is the Upstart. He's a New York bred. The McLean's Music, 2-year-old, he's a Kentucky bred because he came, Pace Classy Lady? To the Moon Alice. Okay, so when we bought to the Moon Alice, gee, now almost 4 years ago, basically she was pregnant with McLean's Music. So basically when we had her, we actually kept her in Kentucky after we bought her the bloodstock sale. She gave birth there, which made him Kentucky bred. Then we brought him up here and we raised him as obviously a foal, and then eventually we didn't sell him. He's in the track right now, doing pretty well. So we're optimistic about that. So we'll see what happens with these sales. You know, typically, you know, we breed, so that's kind of our format. So, you know, our number one thing is to go ahead and sell. You know, there are obviously some places they breed to race. Okay, so we breed to sell. Now, if for some reason, and there's a bunch of circumstances that can come up, why basically we can't sell. Okay, we'll go ahead and race. Now we have one actually. We have one shaft colt that now. Okay, so basically he got injured in the paddock, believe it or not. Okay, just kind of playing with one of the other colts when he was young, like, you know, when he was kind of still, I guess you'd call it a weanling / going into yearling. So he had a little bit of a neck injury for lack. So not to get too technical about it, let's call it like a pinch type of nerve. So it basically took him over a year to get over it. Now, basically, he looks in pretty good shape. So what we did is we sent him down to Woodbury Payne. Okay, who's an Ingleside training center down in Virginia, and he's currently getting broken. He will be going to the racetrack. So, but he'll be going to the racetrack as a 3-year-old.
We did just get a very interesting question, one that I'm curious about as well. Do you Airbnb out the stalls in your barn?
Not yet. Okay, not yet. But right, I tell you what, depending on these horse sales, okay, what happens here with the Corona horse sales, we might be Airbnb in those stalls.
And do you attend all of the Keeneland and Fassick sales, or just a select few?
No. I mean, you mean this personally? I mean, personally, yes. I mean, really, the main sales, as far as the sales that we sell to, is really gonna be the July sale, which is the Fast in July sale, the 2 Saratoga sales, Keeneland, and then the October Fast sales. Those are our main sales, and pretty much, yeah, that's it. So the other ones, you know, I know there's some regional sales and things like that, but no, we don't do those. And then, yeah, I mean, normally under normal conditions, we would attend those sales. I mean, obviously right now in the state of New York, they have most of the country under guidelines. We have to go back and do a 28-day quarantine. So this year we probably won't travel those sales. You know, the bloodstock sales where we're buying, we certainly are down there. You know, so yeah, we do attend. Normally, as far as physical presence, you know, we'll be at the sales. Okay, and certainly when we're buying, Greg and Trina will be at the sales. I'll be there as well. Okay, when we're selling, it might just be me. Okay, but yeah, that's pretty much
I'd like to extend a special thank you. If that's okay?
Oh, absolutely.
Hi, Michelle here. I'd like to extend a special thank you to our viewers near and far for following our journey, and to the National Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame with the assistance and the founders, John Henriksen and the late Mary Lou Whitney. We thank you for honoring us with the Foal Patrol. We have wonderful followers that are up all hours of the night as we deliver the babies. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
great. So I think they unless, yeah, okay, people might ask about 14 Marines right now. I'll tell you what, we can take a quick walk if you want, and just to finish up as we kind of get done with the tour here. Hopefully next year, people can come like in the last couple of years and actually come and attend. Like, you know, we had good crowds and we had a really good time with lunch and everything that we had served here. So that was a lot of fun. But we'll take a quick walk back here and see if we can find Pork Chop. He might be in his, I guess we call it his Pork Chop cave that he made. So take a quick walk back here.
You do already have a few people signing up for the Airbnb status, so if you would like to.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll let you know, okay? Just follow our horses on. You'll see our name there, Old Tavern Farm. We'll list our horses. And if you see them not being sold, then we'll contact you for the Airbnb. So we'll finish up. Come on, take a walk right in here. We're going to go inside the chicken coop. So, any event, if you take a quick look right down in there, okay, he kind of makes himself, he kind of made his own shit. Hey, what? I'll be quiet. Nice spot right there.
Chicken baby.
All right, guys. Well, I guess that's it for now. Thanks very much for logging online at this virtual. I guess you can also, you know, send them to the museum and they'll forward them off to you. And then hopefully we'll see you next year at Foal Patrol. And you can follow us on Old Tavern Farm on our Facebook and Old Tavern Farm on the Instagram, Old Tavern Farm Winery. And we'll give one shout out for Brown Road Racing.
Pork Chop. We got a tour to give. Let's go. Get up. Get up. Come on, people want to see you. All right, I'll let them know.